Okay. Hello, Mixtresses and Mixters. This is Mixtress Ray. You're watching a Mixtress video. And today we are going to go through my tarot and oracle collection. And apologies in advance, but I can't see what you see from the weird angle that I have to have right now for various reasons. So hopefully you'll be able to see this okay. Actually, doesn't the viewfinder thing? Oh, wait. Okay, I'm a dumbass. Okay, now I can kind of check the shot. Yay, that's good. And you are also getting my shadow because I'm in front of the light, but it's just the nature of the circumstances right now. So what you can't see right now is that I have a TV tray table, just so you can get a visual of how big that is. So it's like maybe 1.5 feet wide and 1 foot deep, stacked with about 95% of my tarot and oracle collection. This is not meant to be an exhaustive collection list, exhaustive and complete, because there are a few decks that live in other places of my house and I chose not to bring them in here. This is about showing, sorry, I have to adjust something in the background here, and it's loud. Sorry about that. I thought I had that ready to go, but I didn't. I have, okay, just to explain the setup to you. So I have that TV tray table off the shot that has all of my tarot and oracle decks, mostly. And then I have my Purgatory on a little stool next to the TV tray table, because the idea here, I'm kind of stealing this idea from my friend Sylvain, who did this maybe a year or so ago, maybe even more than that. He chose to put like all of his decks away and then brought them out as he thought of them. I'm not sure if that's what I'm going to do exactly, but I do think that a bunch of things are going to end up in that box, and the idea will be that I'm setting them aside until I need them. I am not looking, so the thing that I'm heading into this with, the thought that I'm heading into this with is, I feel like I have too many tarot and oracle decks. However, when I think of my tarot and oracle decks, at this point in time I have around 15 of each. I actually think it's less than that. Let me count the decks that are here. So this is tarot and oracle all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So yeah, that does even out to about 15 of each. Again, there are a few decks that live downstairs, and I was too lazy to go get those. So the ones that live in my car, in my purse, and downstairs are not here. But they are not ones that I would be putting aside anyway. So my thought process is, I feel like I have too many, but when I think of each individual tarot and oracle deck I have, they all feel right to me. So because of this cognitive dissonance, like feeling like I have too many, but at the same time I don't actually want to let go of anything that I have, tells me that I need to not actually let it go completely yet, but maybe I can just sort of set it out of sight, out of mind, and then give myself a chance to miss it. So that's the idea today, is that I am both showing you my collection of items and deciding what is going to be in a purgatory. Is just the easiest way to say that, right? Drinking a bourbon too. My new favorite, I've been trying a bunch of different bourbons lately because I'm basically trying to find a favorite that's less than $20 since my old favorite has been unavailable for like 3 or 4 years now. Like sometimes I find a bottle, but usually it's overpriced when I do find it. For those of y'all that know bourbon and might want to know what my favorite was, it used to be Buffalo Trace because like for the last 10 years or so, it's been Buffalo Trace. But then like somewhere around 4 or 5 years ago, like people found out how good it was and now you can't fucking find it anywhere. So anyway, so now the one that I'm drinking right now, in case anyone's interested, is Evan Williams 1784, 1782. I don't know. It's a year in the 1780s. So it's like a special batch that they've made. I actually really like every Evan Williams bourbon I've tried. That is my go-to cheap whiskey that I actually really truly enjoy. So just in case you guys are interested in that information, it's going to be a very small number of you. But let's just go through. I'm just going to pick, I basically just emptied my tarot and oracle drawers and put them on this table, and here we are. So I am this is something that I would be doing anyway, but I'm going to film myself doing it because it's helpful. And yes, I still have Halloween decorations. I don't know. For me, Halloween doesn't really feel... It doesn't feel like it's Halloween time to me until about halfway through October because it doesn't start cooling off where I live until like late October. Like it's just now I'm wearing a long sleeve tee and I'm probably not going to regret wearing long sleeves. Anyway. I feel like it's been a while. Hi guys, how are you? Let's go through it, shall we? So here's an oracle deck. And I want to talk, just kind of like talk about what, not only what is in, what all of these are, how I use them, when was the last time I used them. I kind of want to go through the motions with it. Why do I have this, etc. So the things that I feel unsure about will be the things that I set aside for a while. This is my sort of like Hindu goddess bag. This deck here is called the Gods and Goddesses card deck. And it has gods and goddesses, as it says, obviously. This one is more like, it's not an oracle deck strictly, it's more of like an altar card situation. I use it to like decide my goddess of the year, goddess of the month, that kind of thing. And I'm saying goddess as a stand-in for both god and goddess, but sometimes I just pull aside my very favorites and pick from those. This is something that I use. This is something that I appreciate. This is something that I feel a connection to. So this one I am going to leave out. This is just the Gods and Goddesses from the Yogic Path Oracle. That's all I chose to keep from this Oracle deck. I feel like everything's looking really washed out, but hopefully you guys can kind of... this isn't really meant to be a showcase for these decks. It's more of a babbly video. But this one is just the Gods and Goddesses from Yogic Path. And it makes sense to me that it be in this beautiful bag. Okay, I was using this as a marker for where the shot cut off, but I'm going to set it aside now because I don't really need it. Now that I realized I can just turn the viewfinder around. So this one, okay, I did not I made a space for the things I'm setting aside for now, but I didn't make a space for the things that I will be putting directly back into the drawer. So I guess they're just going to go on the floor. It's clean in here, so. Then we have this bag. This, oh yes, I just recently put this in here. This is the Seasons of the Witch, the Autumn Oracle. And I just got it pretty recently. I think that's what my last video on this channel was about, actually, was this. I'm flipping through the backs. Oh, look. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Look at the imagery, guys. Yeah, this isn't going anywhere either. Although it's probably not. Am I still going to use it right now? It's definitely like it's top of my mind right now because I have been using it. So I'm going to go ahead and, this one's going to be in the out category. What am I going to call that? If I say in the drawer, it means it's staying in use. Or if I just say in use or in the drawer, I don't know what I'll say. If it's going in the box, that means I'm setting it aside. It's gorgeous, gorgeous bag. I love it so much. I'm going to be like talking about the bags. These are my Ted Andrews decks. So we have Animal Wise Tarot and the Feathered Omens Oracle deck, which is all birds. You know what? I gotta talk about this a little bit more, I think. This is one that's like, I feel like I always say the same thing about it, which is that I don't feel, it's like I feel a connection to it, but I don't feel a connection to it. Like I haven't actually made a real solid relationship with this deck, but it has a charm to it that is so specific to me, plus it was a gift, that I don't think it would be possible for me to let it go. At least not right now. Although it could be an interesting experiment since I'm not actually letting anything go today. I don't think. I mean, there might be some exceptions to that, but that's not the intention of this video. And I love this. The Feathered Omens is, I have made a connection to this because it's all birds. And I am the bird mad girl. Oh my god. Gorgeous. Look at that terrible grackle picture. It's all stretched. Oh, where's the legs? What's happening with this hummingbird? What's wrong with this hummingbird? That is the skinniest bluebird I've ever seen. Anyway, yeah, it has a charm to it that I can't deny. So I would definitely not put this one away, and this one goes with it. So these are staying in the drawer. See what I mean? I feel like I'm going to go through all of these and like nothing's going to end up in the box. So that's the cognitive dissonance that I'm having. It's like, why do I have this? Do I have an urge to purge for a maladaptive reason? I don't know if that's really the word I'm looking for, maladaptive. Do I have the urge to purge for just because I want to do it? Or do I have an urge to purge because there actually is a reason, you know? Do I actually need to let go of some shit? Because sometimes, like, you feel like you when you look at your stuff, you don't want to get rid of it, but if you had actually just gotten rid of it, you wouldn't miss it. You know what I mean? It's still a complicated subject for me, although it's been getting easier. my relationship to stuff has been really clarifying. Maybe that's not the right way to say it either. My feelings about my relationship to my stuff have been clarifying. I've been able to be more honest with myself about my relationship with my stuff. That makes more sense. Okay, we had Fairy Enchantments. This is the Ian Daniels Oracle deck. My cat is definitely a little pissed off that she's been shut out of this room, just so you know. Oh, and I also have the only cards that I kept from the Embroidered Graveyard. I glued this card together. Has a home that I lost and a cat that I lost. So this is one card. This is like just a double-sided card. And then I have this Hello Goodbye that I've also glued together, so it is a double-sided card. Protection and Bat. So these were the only, I guess technically 6, because this one's one. These two are one-sided and these two are two-sided. So that's what I kept from Embroidered Graveyard. I have not really used this deck this year. It's one of those, like, the artwork doesn't really match the concepts on the other side. Sometimes it sort of does, but sometimes I think it was just like pre-existing artwork. But this has a specific purpose. It's trying to look, where's the best way to hold this so that both I can see it and you can see it? It's a spell crafting deck. It has a very specific purpose, and I find it very aesthetically pleasing. I love it a lot. These like subdued colors with the rose pattern, and the box is really gorgeous. There's just, I'm having mini aesthetic happiness. Mini aesthetic happies in my brain when I open this deck up. I do not want the pregnant chick on the top. I don't want that ugly guy on the top either. Okay, we can deal with this archer fairy person. So, you know what? I think I need the book to be on top actually, because these cards are sort of bent. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Again, that's one that, like, I have not reached for this, like, in many, many months. Possibly not even at all this year. Definitely once or twice this year. But I think I'm okay with having it. Because I think there will come a time. This is a thing that I'm just now very slowly learning to accept, which is the fact that sometimes I will set something aside, whether it be a video game, a TV series, a tarot or oracle deck. Sometimes I will set something aside for literally years, but then I will think about it again and want to get it out. It's kind of like the way I feel about board games. Like I have a little bit of a board game collection, like nothing like extensive, but I have a good number of board games, and some of them get played once every 6, 7, 8 years, but that doesn't bother me. So why am I bothered if I don't use a tarot or oracle deck in a year? You know? So it's a fine line between like that line of thinking could lead me to keeping too many things, but so I'm trying to figure out how to navigate that still. But I'm realizing that sometimes it's okay to keep something that you don't engage with much at all. It's a very personal thing to navigate, right? I have to figure out my own relationship to it. But this is one of those things that is very specific, and if I want something like this, I have it in this. I wouldn't want to accidentally feel the need to reacquire this, and this is something that I could see happening, even if I don't use it more often than once or twice a year. So that's staying in the drawer. So far, nothing's gone in the box. This is Tantric Dakini. I think I have tried to put other things in this bag, but every time I just think of Tantric Dakini when I see the leopard print. So yes. This one is, I love using it for pick-a-pile readings. And I love what it is. And I love getting to know it. This one's like I feel like it unfolds a little bit more every time I use it. And it's not used that often. But yeah, again, it's another one that I couldn't imagine not having because I would think about it. You know, there are some things that when you let go of them, you don't think about them. But this one I would just randomly think about it and need it. So it's going back in the drawer. This is Brian Trout's Fairies Oracle. I don't even need to think about this one. This is like the best Oracle deck of all time, maybe. I mean, it's definitely on the top 5 for me. If I could only have 5, this would be one of them, so that one's going back in the drawer. Back in the drawer. Okay, here is, I think these need to go together because these are both the same. I have the full-size Kali Oracle and the mini in this little fishy. I'm trying to put this other card that I've had out for a while back in here. Oh man, this one's a weird one because it's like I cannot articulate why I enjoy this because there are so many things negative. There's so many things you could say against the Alana Fairchild, any Alana Fairchild deck, but I am pretty partial to this imagery despite, you know, some really obvious issues with it, which I don't need to go into right now. But I like it. I like with these little cards, it's like if I just need something quick and simple and supportive, which is not necessarily like the Kali Oracle has some challenging themes to it, but the way that everything's worded on the back is mostly, you know, nice washed. And sometimes you need that, and that's okay. I use this one pretty frequently. This mini one I use pretty frequently. And then the full-size one, I got it out the other day and tried to pull a card from it, and I would say I was unsuccessful. But I like that the images are bigger. And I went through this thing. Like, I don't even think I'm going to show you these pages. Okay, I can show you this because this doesn't have any, like, anything personal on it. But I have written the day that I pulled each of these oracle cards every time I've pulled one. So it's like I've been annotating in this guidebook since I got it, which was it the end of 2020 that this one came out, or the end of 2019? And I'm sorry, you're going to have to listen to me flip through this book because I'm looking for the earliest date that I've written in here, which is not necessarily in any kind of order. Oh, first draw from this deck, 12/7/2020. Okay, so I got this at the end of 2020, and I've stuck to that ritual. Every time I pull a card from this, it gets written in here. So because of the fact that I have just made this mine, it's not going to be leaving my house, despite the fact that I don't actually use it that often. But yeah. And this is another one that, like, I don't have anything else like this, besides the fact that I literally have a mini version of the same deck. But I don't have anything else like this. Like, when I want this, I want this. The way that I use this oracle deck is also, it's kind of like a meditation. You know, I pull a card, I read the guidebook entry. It's usually going to stay out. That card is going to stay out for a week, a month, a season. And I'm going to be journaling about it. You know, like, it's more of a meditation deck than anything else. And this is the only deck like this, I think. I mean, not that I don't pull oracle in a similar fashion with other decks, but this one is just specific enough in my mind that when I want it, I want it. Again, which is the same thing I've said about the last few. So yeah, maybe my deck collection is exactly where it needs to be. Vintage Wisdom. I don't even keep this inside a bag or a box or anything. It's just out. It's out all the time. And that's not going to change. So I'm actually going to set this on the windowsill. I believe this is one of my decks. Yes, it's my Magic and Medicine of Plants oracle deck, available at the link below. Yeah, I mean, I made it, so obviously not getting rid of the one that I made. One of the ones that I made. And this is the other one that I made, Mixtress Oracle. I'm already almost 30 minutes in, and I'm now like a third of the way through. Maybe a fourth, so I won't take this one out. But this is my pride and joy. I made it. It's the Mixtress Oracle. It's going back. It doesn't even live in a drawer. It lives on a shelf. This is also going right back on a shelf in this room because it gets used almost every week. I mean, it does get used every week for my patrons. And this is the Woodland Wardens Oracle deck. Plants and animals. And keywords. Oh my. I have nothing. I have like no notes. Well, that's not true, strictly. There would be a few, but this is definitely a top 5 oracle deck, and I use it every single week. So that is staying in this room, actually. This is one of 2 decks that I bought for myself this year. An astrology deck. And I've already used it for a few readings that I've done on the channel. I've only had it for 4 months, 5 months, something like that. And I love it. It has a specific purpose. I've been using it when I feel like it, and it's not taking up any mental space beyond that. It's not, I think it's a beautifully made oracle deck. Almost no notes on that one. So that's going back in, actually it has been living in this room, but there's really not a reason for it to live in this room, so I'm probably going to put it back in the drawer. Well, I'm doing great so far. Not a single thing has gone in the box, and I'm almost done with the oracle cards. This one is, my thoughts about this one that's in my hands right now, they are personal. It's going in the box though, for now. A minty oracle. This one has been like sort of an evergreen deck in my collection since I got it back in, would have been 2019, I think? 2018? 2019? I don't know. I like it. It's very specific. You know, this is when you need advice on when you need like ethical or moral advice. When you need to know how you should be acting in a situation. I am accepting. I create harmony. I do good. I benefit with gratitude. I follow my inner guidance. I live in truth. So this is, I don't have anything else like this. This is the closest thing that I might have to kind of a mantra deck, an affirmations deck, ethical advice. Like no other oracle deck is this in my sphere. So it's going back in the drawer. That's an easy one. Oh my god, only one thing's gone in the box and I didn't even show you what was going in the box. So this is not going to be a satisfying video if you're looking for a declutter. So obviously I'm not going to title this like declutter or anything because that would just be a letdown. Next is, for some reason I took it out of the box off the camera, Dark Mirror Oracle. Those of y'all that have been around my channel for, I don't know, for a minute probably already know this is going absolutely nowhere. I love this. It's probably a top 5. Have I said that about more than 5? Hopefully not, because I do believe that this one is a top 5. I really love the aesthetics of this one, and I think it does a really good job of embodying a very psychological approach to an oracle deck. And I believe that this is a shadow work oracle deck, which makes sense because it is called Dark Mirror. That's what it was meant to be, and it does that job very well. always sell it whenever it's on screen because I think it's an underappreciated one. It's an underappreciated mass market that you can get. I haven't checked recently, so hopefully it's not out of print, but this is one that you should be able to get for like 15 bucks. 15 or 20. Okay, that's not the end of the Oracle decks. There's one more. This is one that I received. That makes it sound like it was a gift. It was not a gift. I bought it for myself. I got this. I bought it right before I started my no-buy year. I started my no-buy year on the winter solstice last year, 2023. This is the Amrit Brar Oracle deck. She made Marigold Tarot. I've got to say, I guess you guys haven't seen... I filmed my first impressions on this and I haven't put it on the channel yet. The only thing I've put on the channel with this deck in it is like a silent flip through or something. So I guess this is going to be kind of the review of it. Now that it's been like almost a year. It has been almost a year since I got this one. And I have not made a real connection to it. I overall don't feel even close to the connection that I have with Marigold Tarot to this Oracle deck. You know, I'm going to put this one in the box. This one has not proven itself to me yet. I've definitely had some good card pulls with it. But overall, it doesn't feel super cohesive to me. You know, it doesn't have a specific purpose in my Oracle collection the way that most of these others do. So I could see this one not being forever. So I am going to put it in the box. I was actually not expecting that, but that is what happened. Okay, I need to take a drink that isn't alcohol. Don't worry, I have 2 beverages. That's the kind of bitch I am. I always got 1 drink in each hand. Now we're ready for the tarot decks. I don't think there's any Oracle stragglers, but if there are, whatever. Gothmancy. This one I actually took out of the box in order to show it to you guys. This one's hilarious. I have tried to get rid of this one several times. I've offered it to several different friends and they don't want it. I have listed it on eBay a couple of times. No one wants it. No one wants it. Let me say, no one wants it for the price that I'm willing to sell it for. And I'm not trying to sell it for really expensive, but like basically, I'm not willing to take, you know, what I want to do with this is either give it to a friend that wants it or get at least 40 or 50 bucks for it. But I have not succeeded in that. So this has lived in my purgatory. I mean, it's shuffled, so I have used it at some point this year. But it has lived in my purgatory. But this is the only pop culture deck that I really do like. I like the art. I like the colors. I like most of the pop culture that is represented. Most of it is familiar to me. Each card has a song associated with it. This is like so many things about this are up my alley that I can't just do what I've done with many other tarot and oracle decks I don't like, which is like put it in one of those little libraries down the street or donate it to a thrift store, or I can't do that with this for some reason. So it is going to go in the box because as a usable tarot deck, it really falls flat, in my opinion. I am so in love with the concepts in this tarot deck, and to a certain extent, I love the art. But I don't love the experience of reading with it. So it's going in the box. This one is my favorite version of the Rider-Waite Smith, which is, oh fuck, I forgot what it's called, but it's a low scarabeo. I've trimmed the borders off of it. What was this one called? I don't have the box anymore. And it's in order because I recently needed to like reset it, and I mostly put it in order, except I got this mixed up, but anyway, it's pretty much in order. This is the one that I usually use for my patrons, although I gave it a rest just a few weeks ago, but I'm ready to bring it back already. I mean, it's been like less than a month since I put it in order and set it aside to give it a little bit of a rest. So it's ready to come back, and it lives on a hook right here, right over here, over here. You're not going to be able to see it, but it's just on the wall right here. This is where it lives. So that one is not even going in the drawer. It's going back in this room. Pulp Girls Tarot. This was a gift from my friend. I guess I shouldn't say their name. Like some people don't. I didn't ask her beforehand if I could share her name. But from one of my friends that might be watching this video. This is a Rider-Waite Smith knockoff. And it is so stinking cute. This is what Modern Witch should have been. I adore it. I adore it. There's like all these like 70s clothes and like the colors, and it's cute, it's affordable, it makes me really happy to look at. But here's the thing. It's a very straightforward Rider-Waite Smith knockoff. And if I want Rider-Waite Smith, I'm usually going to just go to Rider-Waite Smith. Despite how much I love these disco queens. I mean, come on. This isn't, I feel like this is a little bit of an underappreciated deck too. If you're looking for something cute, witchy, girly, 70s, doesn't take itself too seriously, but still has all the traditional Rider-Waite Smith symbolism. Get this. Get this for, I feel like this would be perfect gift for, you know, teen witches getting into tarot. I actually have a person in mind that I would like to give this to, if she wants it. I don't know if she will want it. I don't think she currently has a tarot deck, but I think I could see her being open to having it, but I would like to talk to her about whether or not she wants it. So this one's going in the box with the intent that it might actually go to a friend of mine. Not because I don't like it, because I absolutely fucking love it, but it just doesn't really serve a purpose for me, because I already, if I want the Rider-Waite Smith, I have 2 different versions of it, right? I think I just have 2 now, because I have that one I just showed you, and then I have my vintage plaid back. So, yeah. If that one had, like, the shuffle is not amazing with it. It's very much one of those, like, hollow cardboardy type cardstocks. It's not as hard to shuffle as, like, US games, but it's not that stiff. But if it were more enjoyable to shuffle, I would keep it, no question. And if my friend doesn't want it, I will still keep it. But yeah, for now, it's going in the box with the intent to give it to a friend. Is this my plaid back? Yes, this is my vintage plaid back. Writer-Waite Smith from it's likely from the 80s. And I love it. It's a beautiful, buttery, smooth shuffle. However, it does not get used. Even though I love it, it does not get used. Which makes me think I should find a use for it. But I'm not going to let it go because it's a vintage yellow box, plaid back. Like, there is like a little bit of an ounce of collector in me. And I need to honor that without giving into it. Like, I have a particular psychological thing. I'm sure I've told you guys about this before, but just in case I haven't. This is kind of personal. So if you don't already know me, if you ever meet me in person, don't fucking bring this up. Okay? And if you do, I'll know that you're just trying to piss me off. Because it's just too personal of a thing to say to someone when you don't really know them. You know what I mean? So, my dad is no longer with us. He died in 2011. The nicest way to say it is that I had a complicated relationship with him. But yeah, obviously there's way more to it than that. But I'm just saying that to provide the context that I don't want my behavior to remind me of my dad. I don't want to be like him. And one of the things, and that explains a lot if you've seen the type of psychological bullshit that I've gone through with my relationship to stuff over the years. He was a huge collector. He had the most ridiculous, and I say this because this is, my own personal reactions to this. This is me projecting my own shit onto this. But to me, he had the most ridiculous collections of items. And he knew so much about these things, and he had reasons for having them. And if he were alive today, you better believe he would be one of those old white guys with a YouTube channel with 1 million followers. And all he would do with his channel is show off his collections of shit. And I'm doing it right now. That's not lost on me. But when he died, just so I don't go into a whole thing about this, but when he died, I don't know if he had all this stuff stipulated in his will that he would have all this stuff put in the coffin with him, but he had a bunch of crap in the coffin with him. Stuff that he collected. Amongst the things that he collected were Hot Wheels cars, glass ashtrays, beautiful works of art, glass blown, handmade ashtrays, but you couldn't use them. No, you don't use them. Even though he was a smoker, which is why he died. But, he had a collection of flashlights, of watches, the list goes on and on and on and on. He had a gigantic house, even though he was just living with his wife and stepdaughter at the time that he died. She was not my sister. I didn't ever even live with her. She was much younger. But, so he was buried with all that shit. And his favorite quote was, "He who dies with the most toys wins." So he was absolutely shameless about his collecting habits. And a lot of my, distaste for collecting behaviors that I find in myself stems from that. So, if I never explained that context before, now you know. Now you know why I am the way that I am, because I do not want to be like my father. And the really upsetting part is the older I get, the more I look like him. Okay, next we have, I know exactly what this is. This is Cosmic Tribe. This one has a bunch of naked men in it, and women. And it is the level of nudity that I actually probably should avoid showing you if I want to keep. This one's just a topless woman, so that's fine. I don't want to be one of those people that doesn't show any nudity on my channel just because I'll get demonetized, but I'm going to refrain from showing you any penises right now. Anyway, this one it's my only Thoth-based tarot deck. Not that I necessarily need that, but I appreciate it for what it is. I appreciate this is a very unique tarot deck that was created with creativity, uniqueness, intention, talent. That is the new cunt rating system for tarot and oracle decks. You heard it here first. Creativity, uniqueness, intention, and talent. So yes, it's a direct rip-off of RuPaul, but it's so cunt. That deck is so cunt. I'm keeping it. This is Crow's Magic. And the first time I ever saw this tarot deck was, I believe it was when I first discovered tarot YouTube. I didn't see it on tarot YouTube actually, but I had just discovered that and I was sort of looking for a new tarot deck. This would have been like 2015, because I think it was the year I moved into this house. When I moved back into this house, I pretty immediately, when I moved into this house that I live in now, which was 2015, I pretty immediately sort of reconnected to witchcraft again. And I had kind of not really been thinking about it for a long time. Like, I had identified as a witch in teenage years, and periodically I would sort of revisit it every once in a while, but it really wasn't until I moved into this house. So it would have been in my early 30s when I finally came back to it. And I started looking for a tarot deck at that time. And that is, I think, when I first saw this. I saw this on eBay around 2015 to 2017. And I knew immediately, because I was just looking for Crow Tarot Deck. I just searched Crow Tarot Deck on eBay or something. And I saw this. I think, maybe I Googled it. Maybe I didn't search for it on eBay. I don't know, but memory is fallible. But I know that I was specifically searching for a Crow Tarot deck. Probably saw it on Eclectic Tarot or something. Yeah, that feels right. That feels right. I probably discovered this on Eclectic Tarot. And I knew it was for me, immediately seeing the imagery. I knew it was for me. But it was out of print. It's been out of print ever since I knew what it was. And I did not get it at that time. I ended up getting it in 2019. Because at the time, that I first discovered it, it would have been unheard of, excuse me, unheard of for me to think about spending $50 on an out-of-print tarot deck. But now I'm really happy that I did. I didn't even talk about I just talked about the first time I ever saw it. But my relationship to it is growing. It's a slow relationship. Like, I feel like we don't fully speak each other's language yet, but we've established a pretty solid foundation, and I can't imagine letting it go. There's nothing else like it. And it is pretty specifically me. It's just me. I knew it from the first moment I saw it. This is just a representation because it's actually an empty box. This is the deck that I have out on my tarot table in the other room right now, Marigold Tarot. And it's one of the reasons why I'm doing this video right now. Because whenever I do get this one out, I always think, why do I have anything else? Weirdly, I thought I sort of fell out of love with this tarot deck this year because I haven't been using it much. I used it a lot in like January and February, and then I mostly put it away until October. But I'm having a love affair with it again as we speak. It's been out for a couple of weeks, and again, like, it's possessive. I get it out and it tells me, get rid of everything else. You don't need anyone but me. It's very possessive, but I love it a lot. This, I think, is Nefertari. Yeah. This one is, again, it's specific enough for me that I would not dream of doing anything with this. I think it's beautiful. I think it's thoughtful. This copy of it is actually from 1998. And it's a beautiful shuffle. It reminds me of, I had the Egyptian tarot when I was a teenager. I still have it. It's not here, but it's incomplete. This is done by the same artist, but I think it's actually better than the Egyptian tarot. I love it. So this one's going in the drawer. So far, I'm not going to say that this experiment is a failure, even though I have put 4 decks in the box, I guess. So, not a total failure. Klezma. This one is, again, absolutely going nowhere. This one is very specific for me. This one's not really like a reader or a shuffler because it's big and thick. This is by far my biggest tarot deck, and it's hefty. But it is art. This is definitely my art deck for sure. I love getting these cards out and putting them on a little stand. I like just enjoying the deliciousness of what this is. It has a ferret in it, guys. I am so inspired by Tara Cochran's collage art. And I love it a lot. This is one that's an expensive Etsy deck, but for me, this one's worth it because, you know, in large part because I don't keep. This is like my representation of an expensive Etsy deck. I have one and it is good. I mean, that's not the only kind of expensive tarot deck that I have, but for the most part, that's what that is. I'm trying to shut my door, but I can't because my video camera's plugged in and my cat's trying to break in. Okay, this is one. Buffy. It's a pop culture deck made by Inside Editions. That being said, this one, I do think they did a pretty good job with this one. That being said, it's still an Inside Editions pop culture deck. Is it in order? Yes. Has it been in order all year? Probably, because I do put them in order at the beginning of the year. So the fact that it's still in order is likely for that reason, because I don't have an immediate memory of putting it back in order for some reason. Ugh. I don't know what to do about this one. Because this is like, okay, oh my god, you know what this is? This is like a pop figure. Have you noticed lately that when you step into, if your town is like mine, if you step into your local, still has some physical media store, whatever type of store that may be for you personally, in my town it's a place called Vintage Stock. There are several, it's a chain, and we have two in our town actually. But basically, you know, they have used DVDs, CDs, records, etc. But the pop figures have taken over. These stores are like half pop figures now, or more, and other action figures and fucking pop culture merchandise. And it disgusts me. But at the same time, I get it, because I have like 10 pop figures in my fucking house. Because you fall in love with a character, right? You fall in love with a piece of art, with a character in a book, in a movie, in a TV show, in a comic book, whatever it is. And then you see that character represented in a Hello Kitty fashion, which to me, pop figures are basically Hello Kitty humans, right? It's that vibe. Exactly, aesthetically, right? And you can't help it. Like, just today, Michael and I went to one of these stores, and I was looking for the new Cure album that came out yesterday that's actually kind of decent. The Cure's my favorite band, but they haven't made a good album since Blood Flowers in the year 2000 or 2001. Can't remember which, but one of those. So they haven't made a good album in over 20 years. And even Blood Flowers wasn't that great. But this one, I mean, I've only heard it all the way through once because it just came out yesterday. But anyway, point is, I was looking for that, and they did not have it. They did not. This is a big band. The Cure. Everybody knows who The Cure is. But they didn't have, you know, and it's coming out on a major label, but they don't have the new Cure album. And yet they have probably thousands of pop figures. And I get it. Again, like I was saying, you pick up one of these boxes, like pretend this is a pop figure of Buffy. And you're like, oh, look, it's Buffy. Oh, it's in this is Prophecy Girl Buffy. This is Prophecy Girl Buffy. It's at the end of season 1. It's an iconic dress, iconic moment. She's got her crossbow. I need this. It's only $10. And you get seduced, which is how I have like 10 pop figures in my house. 2 of which are Poison Ivy. I have 2 different Poison Ivies, and I can't get rid of either of them. Anyway, point is, these pop culture tarot decks are sort of the pop figurification of tarot, right? They are pointless, and yet this is a Buffy tarot. Buffy's my favorite TV show, and I love tarot. Like, how do I let it go, even though it's almost useless? I do enjoy, like, when I do readings with this, which is not often at all. As you can see, I haven't used this all year, I think. But when I do get it out, the context of whatever's happening in the particular episode, whatever scene is depicted on the card, the context of that episode and the emotions involved, because I know Buffy so well, it brings a little something to the reading. So even though the only reason to keep this is because I love Buffy and I love tarot, and every once in a while I enjoy playing with it, this is like a toy. This is like a toy I get out of the box once a year or once every 2 years. So I think I am going to put it in the box. Not because I think I'm ever going to get rid of it, but because I think I would like to see if I actually think about it if I don't see it. You know, because as it stands now, I'm thinking about using tarot, and I don't want to use the deck that I currently have out, because there's always a deck out, my currently playing. But say I'm ready to switch my currently playing, and I open the drawers to look at the other decks that I have. I don't want to be reminded of Buffy unless I actually think about it, so I'm putting it in the box. I started this new game. Silly Buffy anecdote before I go to the next deck. I started this new game. I currently have access to Amazon Prime Video, and they have like live channels or something now, I guess. Most of y'all are like, duh. But Buffy is on all the time right now. Like, you can just tune in and it's going to be in the middle of a Buffy episode. And I've started just for fun. I, challenge myself to see how long it takes me to realize what episode we're in. And it usually, so far, I'll just tune in and not know, and just within the first, usually about 5 seconds, I know exactly what episode we're in. I know the context of the scene. I can usually name the season that we're in, and usually within a good 10 or 15 seconds I can even name the episode. So that's so stupid, so ridiculously specific, but man, if you guys ever want to if you ever get invited to a Buffy trivia night or something, I'm the girl you want to have on your team. I promise you. I'm going to know next to nothing about almost everything else in the universe, but I got you on Buffy. And a few other things, I guess, but this is Halloween Tarot, and I feel like I don't even need to take it out. But I will, because look, my friend Wendy made me this gorgeous bag specifically to go with my Buffy Tarot, and do you see the beauty? Oh. This one, I have the 10-sized version in my purse. This is an actual, vintage copy from the 90s. And I love it very, very, very much because it's shuffleable, unlike the ones that are sold now that are made from, as Grace calls it, linoleum tile. This is actually flexible, beautiful, shuffleable cardstock. And this is top 5 for me. For me, it's, what is it? What are my top 5 tarot decks? Should I do that right now? No, but I'll give you the top 3. Halloween, Marigold, and Writer-Waite Smith. Top 4, Telesma. I won't give you the 5th because I don't know it off the top of my head right now. So, there you go. Next is Santa Muerte. This one, I feel like, if I say anything about it, I'm just going to say the same things that I've said about it every time I've shown you a collection video. It took me a while to get to know this one. I'll say it anyway, apparently. It took me a while to get to know this one, but I have developed a shorthand with it. It has a specific communication style that I have now been able to tune into. It has started opening up to me just in the last 2 years or so. I really adore it, and there's nothing else like it. And I feel, specifically with this one, it's such a weird thing, and I know I've described this before. I feel like I should be honored to be allowed, this is getting into a very personal animistic approach. So this is not like my review of a tarot deck. This is just my own personal relationship to this specific item in my life, is that I feel honored to be allowed to use it as a tool. I have like a reverence and respect for this, which is such a weird thing to say about what this is. But there's something... I just feel like anything I say about it is going to feel kind of overwrought. But it's almost like there's a spirituality to this that is not entirely mine, but I get to sort of look in the stained glass window at it. This is not one that I've ever used for long periods of time at once because I'm not allowed to, is the way that I feel about it. This is so weird. I'll stop there because it sounds weird. I don't know how to describe how I feel about this, but I don't think I've ever considered letting it go, really. Maybe I put it in the purgatory once or twice, and then I would feel wrong about it and get it back out again immediately. This one feels very special to me. This is one that, that special edition of this that existed when it first went on sale that was in a coffin box. This is one that if I ever came across that and I could actually afford it, you know what? Even as I'm saying that, it's that feels wrong because this is the deck that I've had. So I take that back. I'm not even going to finish that sentence. But I get why. If that special edition in the coffin-shaped box had existed and still been in print when I bought that one, I would have bought it. I guess is the better way to say it. But now, it's too late. It's too late. I already have that one. This has got to be Dark Angels, right? Because we haven't gotten to Dark Angels yet, and there's only one more after this. Yeah. I mean... I guess I should just go ahead and say what I need to say about it because not everybody has seen other collection videos from me, but it's the same thing I always say about this. This one is just a very specific piece of Gothic subculture. This one represents early 2000s goth, I think, pretty well. It's an early photo it's an early digital photo collage type. I mean, I think it came out in like 2009, although the vibes that it gives are very 2002 to me. Best Nine of Pentacles ever. I mean, there's a lot of good Nine of Pentacles, though. It's cheesy. It's beautiful. I used to be very, very drawn, and I still am, but I don't have a bunch of them anymore. I used to have a bunch of these sort of like weird low Scarabeo tarot decks, and I found that I don't really need a bunch of those, but I did almost get rid of this one once. This one lived in a collage box for maybe a solid year or two before I rescued it. I actually had a few of these cards hanging on my wall with thumbtacks through them, but I recovered them and put them back in the deck, and they still work just fine. Yeah. I don't know what to say about this one. It just feels mine. This feels like a deck I would have bought in high school, even though it wasn't in existence yet. But this feels like a tarot deck that I would have bought in high school, and it would just be mine. This would be in my brain, this is a deck that I bought at age 15, and then I didn't get another one until I was in my 30s. Because had this been available then, that's how it would have gone. Does that make any sense? Probably not, but I don't even need to say words about that one. And another one that I don't really need to say words about, this is my Tarot of the Cat People. And I don't feel like taking it out right now. It's another one that I have like a specific, there's specific things that I keep with it that I'm not going to show on camera. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not going to get it out. But this one is just, you know what? I want to anoint it right now while I'm talking to you guys. I'm going to use the Voodoo by Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab. I'm going to use that to anoint it really quick. I like to do this sometimes, just like kind of dot some perfume on the bag or something. Oh yeah. Smells good. Smells good. That one is, again, like I'm going to say the same things about it that I always say about it, so I'm repeating myself for those of y'all that have already seen some of my collection videos, but not all of you have, I'm assuming. This one was a gift from a family friend, and it's a copy from the 80s. Again, it's called Tarot of the Cat People. It's very specific, it's very thoughtfully created, and it's a beautiful thing. What else is not here? My Wild Unknown that's downstairs. I have a couple of tarot and oracle decks that were made by friends. Some of them specifically live in the board game closet because I use them in a game context. What else? Tarot of Vampires I do still have. It lives on my fiction shelf. And ever since I put it there, I haven't used it. But I've heard that it's out of print or something. And it's one that I do think is well made and interesting. And it is one that I would likely miss if I didn't have it. At least in the sense of, like, I have a lot of books in my collection that are just art books or advertising books or something aesthetic like that, that I just like to flip through every once in a while. And maybe I only flip through it once a year or once every 5 years or once every 10 years, but it's worth it to me to take up that bookshelf space for the times that I do engage with it. And also the fact that I've gotten rid of a smartphone this year means that I am more likely to keep physical items than I used to be, because I don't have access to everything all the time on, in my pocket, which is a really good thing for me. It's, oh my God, I'm so much less overstimulated now. And I know I say that every time I bring this up, but it's such a huge change in my life that I, feel like I should proselytize for that change. So if you are at all thinking about letting go of your smartphone, I think you should. I think everyone should. I do. I really do. I mean, there are a rare group of people that do not use smartphones habitually and addictively. But most people do, and I don't think it's doing you any favors. My anxiety is so much better now. My overstimulus, I am so much better now. So, anyway, wasn't meaning to go into all that. This is a very long video already. So what ended up in the box? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 things ended up in the box. So I still have, what was the count at the beginning? 31. So I still have 25. Is that right? I guess we could count. 1. I'm just going to stack. Why not? 2, even though you're not really going to see everything. 3. That one needs to be on the top of the stack. 4. 5, 6. 7. 8. 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Oh, because one of them I put on the windowsill over here. 25. And then this one I hung up over here, so 26. So yeah, this wasn't really a declutter in any sense of the word, but yeah. I still find it useful. I wasn't sure if I would. After everything that I've been through as far as like shopping addiction stuff, collecting behaviors stuff, etc., I wasn't sure if I would still find use in collection content, collection videos. But it is helpful to me because in the sort of Marie Kondo sense of gathering all your similar items together to see them all at once and see what their use is to you. I still think when I look at these stacks of tarot and oracle decks, it seems excessive to me. Just to see how many are here, it seems excessive. And this isn't even everything. I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 or so decks that are in other parts of the house that I didn't show you. So this isn't even everything. And obviously I didn't stack up here the ones that are going in the box, which might eventually leave my house. Eventually. It just feels like a lot when I look at it this way, but as you saw, I felt very sure about all of these being in my collection. So I'm not about ejecting things prematurely anymore, because there are several things even still that I have ejected that I regret. There's one that I gave to a friend that actually, she's going to send it back to me someday. So there's one that's going to come back into my life at some point because I regret letting it go. There's another one that I regret letting go that I could get again. There are like at least 2 that I can think of off the top of my head. Oracle decks that I've gotten rid of that I wish I hadn't, that I could buy again if I choose to, and I might. So regardless of the fact that it feels like too much cognitively, when I go through these, there's a reason that I have them. But to be quite honest with you, like, if they were, like, if I went through, knock on wood, another situation in my life like I've been through before, wherein I lost everything, how many of these would I actually rebuy right away? I mean, I probably wouldn't just rebuy Rider-Waite Smith and like Vintage Wisdom Oracle. I probably would buy more than that if I lost everything all at once. But a good number of these, part of the reason why I have them and I love them so much is because of what they are. Specifically, like Tarot of the Cat People. Like, yes, I like Tarot of the Cat People, but would I rebuy this deck if I lost this copy? Maybe not. Because a big part of why I love it so much is because of the story attached to this specific copy of it and how it got into my life. Anyway, at this point I've been talking for an hour and a half. So, thank you very much if you made it this far. You're a trooper. And thank you for listening to all of this.